Hey YouTube, this is Jake with the Garboders, back with another Pokemon TCG deck profile. Today I'm running a deck profile of the Night March deck I got 16th place at my local League Cup with last Saturday. We did our Chantilly League Cup vlog recap thing, and now I'm going to show you what deck I played. I ended up going 4-2 with this deck. My only losses were against Golisopod Garbodor and then a mirror match in round 5. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into it. We start off with 4 copies of Joltik, 4 copies of Pumpkaboo, and 4 copies of Lampent. These are the 12 Night Marchers. In any Night March deck, you have to kind of run all 12 of these because, as you can see, Night March for DCE does 20 damage times the number of Night March Pokemon in your discard pile, which is just Pokemon that have the attack Night March, and these are all the Pokemon that have it. And you have Joltik, which is the most efficient attacker of the 3 because it only requires 1 DCE. Pumpkaboo can do the same attack but for 3 colorless, and with Dimension Valley it's a DCE. So these are the 2 you'll be attacking with, and then Lampent to stage 1, and it requires a Psychic and a DCE. So you only run this, you can get rid of it with Battle Compressors, Ultra Balls, Sycamores, that kind of thing. So that's the core Pokemon lineup. And now we have 2 copies of Marshadow GX. This is good for your Turbo Dark matchup, and anything that has a bunch of HP, you can, if you really wanted to, you could discard all of the Night Marchers and just attack with this, because then you max out at 270 with a Choice Band. If you have all 12 Night Marchers in the discard pile, plus 30, then that's 270, and you're knocking out anything in the game except for a Wailord with Fighting Fury Belt, which, shout out to Shadow Venom 37. Next, we have 3 copies of Shaymin EX, because Shaymin's great. I ran 2, and then the day before the League Cup, I decided to put in a 3rd one, just for extra draw on turn 1 if I can get it out. So 3 Shaymin EX, they're not as expensive anymore. The full art are down to like $20 or something. So if you want to build this deck, it's not the most expensive thing in the world. But speaking of expensive, you do have one card that's pretty pricey, and that's Tapu Lele GX. These are like $65 or something ridiculous. But we just play 1 copy of this because we have more Shaymins, and you don't really need 2 like you would in Standard. You just bench it, and then you can search your deck for any supporter in your deck and put it into your hand. It's an amazing ability. And then we do run DCEs, so you can use Energy Drive if you want to. It's 20 damage times the number of energies attached to both active Pokemon. So if your opponent stacks up an energy like a Gardevoir GX, you can hit them for lots of damage. So this is an amazing card. Now this deck is 1 card off from the list I actually played. I took out the Pokemon Ranger I was running in exchange for 1 Oricorio. I wish I had this in the round that I lost against the Mirror. They had it, and it really screwed me over. It attacks Supernatural Dance for 1 colorless energy. For every Pokemon in your opponent's discard pile, you can place 1 damage on their side of the field, and you know Night March discards a lot of Pokemon. And you run Dimension Valley, like I said earlier, so you can use this attack for free, which means all you have to do is have it out, and then you can destroy Night March and make them have a bad day. I do run 1 Tapu Koko promo. This is the last Pokemon in the deck. This is for Gardevoir GX mainly, just things that have 200 plus HP that's really hard to hit that number, and you can spread damage. It single-handedly won me my first game against Gardevoir GX. I was able to get off 4 flying flips and take 1 shot for the rest of the game, and it's also helpful in the Mirror. If you can get it out and your opponent can't get going, you can take knockouts early, lots of them, and really slow your opponent down. Now for our supporter lineup, we run 3 copies of Professor Sycamore, 1 N, 2 Hexmaniac, 1 Lysander, 1 Guzma, and 1 Teammates. 3 Sycamore, it's the main draw supporter. You want to be discarding a lot. You don't need 4 of everything pretty much like you do in Standard because you do have VS Seeker and other ways to get cards back. So Sycamore's the main draw supporter. You have 2 Hexmaniac because Trevenant's a big deck, and Gardevoir GX is a big deck. So abilities are huge all around. Get rid of Darkrai EX is free retreat. Lysander, Guzma, you never know when you're going to have something stuck in the active, so Guzma's helpful to get it out, but you never know when you're going to have, or not want to have to switch, so you have Lysander for that. Night March Pokemon, they have flimsy HP, so Teammates is there to get you cards whenever they take a knockout, and you can really punish them for taking knockouts. And then we have 1 copy of N, just for when the rare occasions when we don't want to discard cards, so it's my supporter lineup. Now we can move on to the items. I kind of have these in a mixed-matched order. I'm going to show you them all. 4 Puzzle of Time, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker, 4 Battle Compressor, and 4 Trainer's Mail. So this is a very consistent deck, as you can see. So many 4-ofs. Puzzle Time just gets back a bunch of resources like the rest of these. Ultra Ball discards cards and finds Pokemon. You can discard Night Marchers from your hand while getting other Pokemon like Night Marchers to hit for lots of damage. VS Seeker, you run 4 of those just to get back all those supporters because you don't run a high supporter count, at least of consistent numbers of each supporter. 4 Battle Compressor, obviously, because you just want to be thinning your deck and getting rid of as many Night Marchers as possible. And Trainer's Mail is just kind of there to find everything. So if you're playing against Garbodor, you're kind of going to have a bad day because that's a lot of items right there. And that's not even the end of the item count. So we have 1 special charge because we run only 4 DCEs, you're going to find out in a little bit. And you kind of need to be able to recycle those. And we run 1 Choice Band, 1 Float Stone, and 1 Field Blower. Those are our 1-of items. And then, like I said earlier, we run 2 copies of Dimension Valley, so you can use Pumpkaboo's Night March for DCE or Oricorio for free. And our ace spec of the deck, I actually run a Dowsing Machine over Computer Search. I tested with both, and I kind of decided the day before that I liked the Dowsing Machine better, because if you get Karen'd, it acts as almost a 5th Battle Compressor to give you some defense for Karen, and it's just ways to get back. If you have, say you have 3 puzzles in the discard pile and you have 1 in hand, you can get back it, and then do double puzzle, which is super good. And I would rather have resources from my discard than my deck, I find, because I'm drawing through most of my deck very quickly. And then our energy count is 4 DCE, like I said. It's a small energy count for sure, but with the amount of thinning you do with this deck, you find them when you want them, and it's enough. And just trust me on that. And that's the end of the deck. Before I conclude, look at my awesome playmat. I traded for it when I was at the League Cup. Pumpkaboo, play Night March. So that's great. And that's going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you want to see more awesome content, subscribe. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later.